Friends, today I am telling you something about branches of literature. Literature has mainly four branches: poetry, non-fiction, drama, and fiction. And what is poetry? Poetry is verbal utterances that are composed according to metrical schemes. Non-fiction is writing what is about real life rather than imaginary people and events. Third one is drama. It is work that is meant to be performed on stage by actors in the form of a play. And last one is fiction. Fiction is writing that comes from the author's imagination and that is intended mainly to entertain. Coming to the poetry, here are some points about the poetry. Poetry is an imaginative awareness of experience expressed through meaning, sound, and rhythmic language choices so as to evoke an emotional response. Poetry has been known to employ meter and rhyme, but this is by no means necessary. Poetry is an ancient form that has gone through numerous and drastic renovation over time. Here we have three definitions by different poets. First definition is by famous poet William Wordsworth. Wordsworth has defined poetry as the spontaneous overflow of powerful feelings recollected in tranquility. What happened, friends? Once Wordsworth was wandering lonely. At that time, he saw a beautiful picture. What he seen? He saw at once thousands of daffodils dancing. This beautiful picture make him very impressive. When he returned to home, in tranquility, when he was lying on his bed at that time, he was recollecting that scene of daffodils, those flowers who were dancing before his eyes, and he now taking a pen started writing, and he composed his beautiful poem, which is world famous poem about daffodils. It means that when you saw a scene or picture and when you are in tranquility, that picture recollects again and again and it makes you to compose a poem, that is a poetry. For writing poetry, your feeling should be spontaneous and powerful. No one can compose poem idly sitting. There should be spontaneity and feeling should be powerful. Those feelings which makes poet to compose poem. Friends, we have another definition of a famous poet, Emily Dickinson. Emily Dickinson said, "If I read a book and it makes my body so cold, no fire ever can warm me, I know that is poetry." From this definition, Emily Dickinson has stated his feelings, his idea about the poetry. Then we have third one definition. It is by Dylan Thomas. Dylan Thomas defined poetry as poetry is what makes me laugh or cry or yawn, what makes my tonsils twinkle, what makes me want to do this or that or nothing. It means that what is poetry for Dylan Thomas. In different period there are different type of poetry. In Old English literature, that period also known as Anglo-Saxon, was the earliest form of English. At that time, Old English poems were usually long, narrative. We may call them as epics. Those epics were related with great deeds of warriors and heroes composed on great subjects. For example, we have Beowulf. It is the greatest and first Old English poem written in the 17th century by unknown poet. It is type of epic. Anglo-Saxon Chronicle. It is the oldest interesting prose. Then in the Middle English literature, we have famous the Canterbury Tales. It is written by Geoffrey Chaucer, who is known as the father of English poetry and the greatest poet of his time. In it he has shown a party of pilgrims tell stories to pass time on their journey from London to Canterbury. He has also composed Troilus and Cressida, The Legend of Good Women, then in Middle English literature we have prose. Especially at that time the prose were written on religious subject. For example, the Anchor, Revel. After that we have English plays. First play known as miracle or misery plays and morality plays. In morality play, characters are not people but virtues like truth, honor, greed, revenge, etc. There are also interludes. These are used between two. A funny play by 2 or 3 performers. Thank you very much, friends.